If you're over 50 and your body's been giving you little reminders that you're not 25 anymore, then listen closely, because what I'm about to tell you might be the most important thing you hear for your joints, your balance, your posture, your strength, and honestly, your confidence. You know how everyone says, it's just age? Well, that's not entirely true. What really happens is we stop moving the way the human body was originally designed to move. We stop bending, squatting, twisting, reaching, climbing, pushing, and pulling. And when we stop using those movements, our muscles weaken, our joints stiffen, and our body starts breaking down. Today, I'm going to show you the 5 primal movements that fix 95% of the problems people over 50 struggle with. I'm talking about knee pain, back stiffness, poor balance, weak hips, tight shoulders, and low energy. These movements recalibrate the entire system. And the best part? You don't need a gym, you don't need equipment, and you absolutely don't need to already be fit. You just need to be willing to move like a human again. Now, before we get into the first primal movement, I want you to do something fun. Sit or stand just like you are right now and notice how your body feels. Notice if your hips feel tight, if your shoulders feel slouched, if your back feels stiff, or if you feel a little heavy or sluggish. Keep that in mind, because by the end of this video, you are going to feel the difference. Even if you don't do the movements with me right now, simply understanding them shifts how your body wants to naturally function. That's the beauty of primal movement. It reminds your body what it already knows. Let's talk about the first primal pattern your body depends on, the movement that keeps your knees healthy, your lower back pain-free, and your hips strong. It's the squat. Now don't panic. I'm not asking you to drop down like a teenager playing cricket. I'm talking about the human squat, sitting and standing using the right muscles that stabilize your spine and protect your knees. Over 50, what usually goes wrong is that people stop bending their knees deeply. They start relying on chairs with armrests, using momentum instead of muscle, or avoiding bending altogether because it feels tight. But the moment you stop squatting properly, your legs begin to weaken, your hips stiffen, your ankles lose flexibility, and suddenly stairs feel harder, chairs feel lower, and daily tasks become a mini workout. So here's the primal version. Imagine you're about to sit onto a chair behind you. Push your hips back, let your chest stay lifted, and lower yourself with control. Then stand up by squeezing your glutes, not by pushing your knees forward. That simple pattern strengthens your quads, glutes, core, and ankles all at once. And you know what studies show? The ability to sit and stand without using your hands is one of the strongest indicators of longevity and independence. Every time you practice this movement, you're not just working out, you're literally training for freedom in your 60s, 70s, and 80s. Now let's move to the second primal movement. This one might surprise you because it's one of the first movements humans develop as babies, but we lose it as adults. The hinge. This is the movement that protects your lower back. Have you ever bent over to pick something up and said, "Ooh, my back"? That's because most people round their spine instead of hinging at the hips. Your hips are designed to be the power center of your body. When you hinge, you load your glutes and hamstrings, the big muscles behind you that are built to handle force. If you're over 50, weak glutes and tight hamstrings are major contributors to back pain, pelvic instability, poor posture, and even neck tension. To hinge properly, imagine your spine is a straight board and all the bending happens from your hip crease. Push your hips backward as if someone is pulling your waistband from behind. Your back stays straight, your knees soften slightly, and your glutes fire up. Even a small version of this movement rejuvenates your posterior chain. And here's why this is so powerful. Every time you pick up a grocery bag, lift a box, grab something from the floor, or get out of bed, you're using this primal movement. Do it wrong and your back pays the price. Do it right and your entire body feels stronger and lighter. The hinge reactivates muscles that go dormant after years of sitting, and when those muscles wake up, people often say their back pain suddenly disappears like magic. Let's go to the third primal movement, the most underrated movement for people over 50, but the one that improves posture almost instantly. The pull. Think about your daily lifestyle. We push constantly. We push doors, push carts, and push ourselves off the bed, and we're constantly in front of screens, which puts our shoulders forward. But we rarely pull. And that creates an imbalance where the front of the body gets tight, the back of the body gets weak, and everything collapses inward. This leads to rounded shoulders, neck pain, headaches, shoulder stiffness, weak posture, and reduced lung capacity. Pulling is the antidote to aging posture. And you don't need fancy gym equipment. Just the movement pattern itself trains your brain to activate the right muscles. Imagine squeezing your shoulder blades together gently, like you're trying to hold a pencil between them. Imagine pulling your elbows back in a low row-like motion. That movement engages your upper back, your rear delts, your traps, and your rotator cuff muscles. Basically all the muscles responsible for keeping your shoulders open and your chest lifted. People over 50 often notice that after practicing pulling movements, they feel taller, lighter, and more aligned. Breathing becomes easier, shoulder tension melts, and that old, text neck posture begins correcting itself. Pulling literally rewires your upper body to stand the way it's supposed to. Now onto the fourth primal movement. If you've been around long enough to experience back stiffness, or if you've ever had trouble reaching for something, twisting suddenly becomes scary. But twisting, or rotation, is one of the core movements that keeps your spine young. Babies do it. Adults do it. Athletes do it. But once people pass 50, many stop rotating because they fear injury or because the body subconsciously avoids movement that feels tight. The problem is, when you stop twisting, your spine becomes rigid. Your ribcage stops moving properly. Your breathing becomes shallow. Your core gets weak. Your hips stop mobilizing. And suddenly things like reaching for the seatbelt, turning to look behind you, or even swinging your arms naturally while walking become uncomfortable. Healthy rotation is essential. When you rotate properly, the movement comes from the thoracic spine, the mid-back, not from cranking the lower back. Picture yourself standing tall, gently turning your chest to the right, then to the left, letting your ribs open and your spine glide. That movement hydrates the spinal discs, activates your obliques, improves your balance, and keeps your walking pattern efficient. Without rotation, your gait deteriorates, your steps get shorter, and your risk of falling increases dramatically. Rotation is youth. When you bring it back into your life, your spine literally feels younger, more fluid, and more responsive. People say they can breathe deeper, walk smoother, and feel more athletic even in their 50s, 60s, and beyond. Now we come to the final primal movement, the one that ties everything together. This is the movement most linked to preventing falls, boosting brain health, improving circulation, and increasing daily mobility. It's the gait, walking, but walking with intention and with full body coordination, not the flat, stiff, shuffling walk that many develop with age. Gait is the ultimate primal movement because it integrates all the others. You squat to stand, hinge to move forward, rotate naturally through your spine, pull with your arms, and push with your legs. A healthy gait is the human body's most natural form of expression. But as people get older, they start walking less or walking incorrectly. They shorten their strides, stiffen their arms, reduce rotation, and rely only on their knees instead of using their hips and glutes. Fixing your gait can fix up to 95% of the issues you feel in your body. When your gait is healthy, your joints compress and decompress properly, your muscles stay active throughout the day, your spine rotates effortlessly, your heart pumps better, your brain receives more oxygen, and your balance improves drastically. Walking isn't just cardio, it's a full body reset. The key is to walk tall, let your arms swing naturally, allow your torso to rotate, and push off from your glutes rather than dragging your feet. When you do this, your entire body synchronizes like an orchestra, everything working together in harmony. Now, here's the magic. When you practice these 5 primal movements, squat, hinge, pull, rotate, and gait, you're not just exercising. You're reteaching your body how to be human again. These are the movements our ancestors used daily. They lifted, carried, crawled, climbed, gathered, and hunted. They didn't exercise the way we do today. They moved in ways that built strong, resilient bodies naturally. When you bring these patterns back into your life, even in simple, small doses, everything becomes easier. Your joints feel smoother. Your muscles feel alive. Your balance becomes sharper. Your breathing gets deeper. Your energy increases without stimulants. And here's the most incredible part. Your brain loves these movements. Every time you use primal patterns, you're increasing neural activity, stimulating your vestibular system, improving proprioception, and keeping the brain young. This is why people over 50 who return to primal movement often say they feel mentally clearer, calmer, and more connected to their own body. Movement is medicine, but primal movement is the original medicine. Let me paint a picture. Imagine waking up in the morning without that first painful step. Imagine bending down to tie your shoes without your back complaining. Imagine walking up the stairs without pulling on the railing. Imagine reaching for something overhead without your shoulder catching. Imagine rolling out of bed feeling flexible instead of creaky. Imagine going for a simple walk and feeling strong, confident, and steady with every step. This isn't fantasy. This is what happens when you restore primal movement patterns. Now let's talk about how these movements help specific problems people over 50 deal with every single day. Knee pain, for example, is rarely a knee problem. Most of the time it's weak glutes, tight hips, stiff ankles, or poor gait mechanics. When you squat correctly, hinge properly, and walk with full body coordination, the knee stops being overloaded. The pain reduces naturally because the right muscles finally start helping the joint. Back pain is another big one. More than 80% of people experience it. But primal movements almost always address the root cause. Weak glutes? The hinge fixes that. Rounded posture? Pulling solves that. Stiff spine? Rotation solves that. Poor walking mechanics? Gait solves that. When you strengthen the back through natural movement instead of machines, the spine becomes resilient, not fragile. Shoulder pain, neck stiffness, and headaches often come from the simple fact that we don't pull enough and we don't rotate enough. The body collapses forward, and everything becomes tense. When you restore pulling and rotation, your shoulder blades glide the way they're supposed to, your neck decompresses, and circulation improves. Hips are another huge issue. Most people over 50 have tight hips, weak glutes, or poor pelvic control. Squatting teaches your hips to open. Hinges teach your glutes to dominate. Rotation teaches your spine to coordinate with your pelvis. Gait teaches everything to work together. There is no fancy machine in the world that can replicate the natural power of primal human movement. Now you might be thinking, what if I'm not fit? What if I haven't exercised in years? What if I'm stiff, or overweight, or dealing with pain right now? And I want you to hear me clearly. Primal movements meet you where you are. You can start with small, controlled versions. A shallow squat. A mini hinge. A gentle rotation. A light pull. A slow, mindful walk. Your body adapts quickly because primal movements feel familiar. They're built into your DNA. This is not about perfection. This is about reactivation. Even 10 minutes a day can reignite muscles that haven't worked properly in years. And let's talk confidence for a moment. When you're over 50, confidence isn't about impressing anyone. It's about trusting your body again. About knowing you can move through the world safely, independently, and energetically. When you strengthen these primal patterns, your confidence skyrockets. You walk taller, your posture becomes stronger, and your steps become more stable. Even your mood improves because movement releases chemicals that the brain desperately needs as we age. Now, let me guide you through visualizing these movements in your daily life, because this is where transformation really begins. Picture yourself standing in the kitchen preparing tea. You squat to reach the lower cabinet, smooth, controlled, strong. You hinge slightly to lift the kettle, glutes on, back protected. You pull the fridge door open using your shoulder blade muscles, shoulders positioned perfectly. You rotate to grab a container behind you, spinal fluid and ribs moving. Then you walk across the room with an efficient gait, hips driving, arms swinging, body balanced. You've just done all 5 primal movements effortlessly without even calling it exercise. That's how natural and powerful they are. Now imagine going outside for a walk. But this time you're not shuffling. You're walking with purpose. Your feet roll smoothly from heel to toe. Your arms swing rhythmically. Your torso rotates naturally. Your lungs expand. Your posture is taller. Every step pumps life into your joints, your lymphatic system, your heart, and your brain. A simple walk becomes a full-body tune-up. And the beauty is, once you understand primal movement, you see it everywhere. You see it in gardening, in cleaning, in getting up and down from chairs, in cooking, in carrying groceries, and in playing with kids or grandkids. Suddenly, everyday life becomes your workout. And that's the secret. Fitness after 50 isn't about punishing your body with extreme workouts. It's about upgrading the way you move so every movement becomes therapeutic. And once you fix the body at the foundational level, everything else gets easier. You can stretch more safely, lift more confidently, walk longer, climb stairs smoother, and live with less pain. So let me speak to you directly. Don't let anyone tell you that it's too late to change your body. Don't let stiffness or old injuries or age convince you that decline is inevitable. Your body is adaptable at every age. Your muscles can grow at every age. Your joints can improve at every age. Your balance can be retrained at every age. Your brain can build new pathways at every age. Primal movements tap into the natural intelligence of your body. They remind your muscles what their job is. They remind your joints how to glide. They remind your spine how to rotate. They remind your brain how to coordinate. They remind you what your body is capable of. And here's something powerful. When you practice primal movements regularly, even for a few minutes a day, you're not only preventing problems, you're reversing them. Weak legs become strong again. Stiff hips open up. Tight shoulders loosen. Achy backs feel supported. Poor balance improves. Energy increases. Sleep improves. Mood lifts. Digestion improves. Circulation increases. These movements create a ripple effect. Because once your foundation is strong, everything else in your life gets better. Before we wrap this up, I want you to imagine yourself 3 months from now. Imagine moving through your day with a body that feels 10 years younger. Imagine being able to walk for longer without fatigue. Imagine standing up from a chair without pushing off with your hands. Imagine reaching overhead smoothly. Imagine twisting pain-free. Imagine sleeping better because your body feels aligned instead of achy. Imagine feeling steady on your feet, confident in your steps, and strong in your muscles. Imagine people saying, "You look different. What are you doing?" And you smile because the answer is so simple. It's movement, but not just any movement. It's primal movement. The movement your body has been waiting for. And if you're ready to start, you don't need anything special. You don't need equipment. You don't need a gym. You just need awareness. Start by practicing a slow squat with good form. Practice a gentle hinge. Practice opening your chest and pulling your shoulder blades together. Practice controlled rotation. Practice walking with intention. That's your foundation. That's your fountain of youth. The more you do it, the more your body unlocks. And soon enough, you won't even think about it, your body will do it naturally. And that's when you know you've truly reset your movement. So to everyone watching who's over 50 or approaching 50 or well past 50, let me tell you this, you are not fragile. You are not too old. Your body is not done. You are simply undertrained in the movements you were born to do. Bring back the squat, the hinge, the pull, the rotation, and the gait, and watch how quickly everything transforms. This is your reminder that you can rebuild strength, mobility, balance, and energy at any age. And once you return to these primal patterns, your body will thank you in ways you can't even imagine. If this message connected with you, if it made you feel hopeful or motivated, then make today the day you start. Just one primal movement, one gentle exercise, one intentional step. Because that one step becomes momentum, and that momentum becomes transformation. Your body is capable. Your body is adaptable. Your body is waiting. Let's bring it back to its natural blueprint, and let's do it together. Because over 50 doesn't mean slowing down, it means moving smarter, moving naturally, and moving in a way that keeps you strong for life. Let's get your body feeling younger, freer, and more alive than it has in years. You deserve that. You've earned that. And primal movement is the path to get there.